Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mangus and I literally just got home from Canada and Anime North and it was absolutely amazing, guys. I'm gonna make a video about it in a bit, but on my way home from the airport I was notified that news about Tree Houses just hit, and even though I've been traveling since yesterday and I've literally been up for 24 hours, I just had to get this video out before I went to bed. However, I am really tired, so if I seem a little bit unfocused or if I stumble over some words in this video, it's because I'm very sleep deprived and I've been traveling for a very long time, and I've also been drinking a lot and not sleeping a lot during the con itself, so I am in a very reduced state right now. But let us take a look at the news that just hit yesterday. As always, good old Serenus Forests released an article, and you can go check it out in the video description if you want to go look at it yourself. This is not going to be a super long video because the article is sort of short, but let us start off with these two new previews of what looks to be two bad guys. I'm not sure if these are generic enemies or if they are two specific ones because they are fully armored. The character on the left is called a Reaper Knight, and the character on the right is called the Flame Emperor, and apparently they have a serious grudge against the Gargmak Monastery. So that's kind of interesting. A Flame Emperor definitely doesn't sound like anything generic, although it could be. Like, you know, we've had Barons in Fire Emblem 4, for example, so maybe a Flame Emperor is going to be some sort of high-tier enemy class. These guys look really buff and really scary. Coming up next, we're going to talk a little bit about some more Monastery Mechanics. We've gotten some more information regarding various things. The first one we're going to talk about is strolling. So strolling is basically whenever you wander around the monastery to perform certain tasks, to complete quests, or just, you know, explore. Now in Fates, you were able to pretty much freely explore your castle at your will, although you were held in check by the currency known as Dragon Vein points, which you got each map or if you did castle battles, and Dragon Vein points would hold you back. This time around, it seems like you'll be held back by an energy bar that will gradually go down the more you stroll around the monastery. I'm not sure if it goes down when you just walk around or if it goes down whenever you complete a quest, but it very much seems like this energy is something that you'll need to manage. You won't be able to do everything you want within the monastery. You'll definitely have to decide which activities you want to do and which activities you want to skip out on. However, it also seems like you'll be able to improve this energy. We know for that Byleth can actually receive coaching from the other teachers, such as Manuela and Hanuman right here. Again, these screenshots that we got, many of them are very blurry and they don't look good, and we can only really guess what's going on in some of these. We will receive bigger versions of these images very soon, but for now, this is all we have to go on. It seems here that Manuela will be able to improve our energy. She'll like let us level up our strolling energy so we can run around the monastery more. And Hanuman seems to be connected to something regarding the crests. Again, that's what he studies, so I'm not really sure what's going on there, but maybe he'll actually teach us how to unlock the skill crests for our respective students. It seems like these class options where Byleth is actually the one being taught things actually goes on during the weekends. Now we do know that during weekends regular classes will not take place. You'll be able to run around and explore the monastery and do side quests, and it very much seems like these courses is something that you can take as well. So you'll probably be forced to choose between either doing these side quests or taking these courses to improve your skills. Next up, let's talk about the venture mechanic. So we have been very curious regarding grinding and how it's going to work in Tree Houses, and with this, it seems like we're getting a bit of a better picture about how the grinding will take place. So venturing seems to be connected to the minimap, and you'll be able to run around on the minimap, and it seems like we'll be able to go around and do skirmishes. However, just like the strolling energy, you will be limited in what you can venture. So you won't just be able to venture around and kill things as you please. It very much seems like you are limited to an energy bar. When it goes down, you won't be able to venture anymore. So there will be grinding in Tree Houses, it seems, but it will be grinding in a limited capacity. I do have to ask if harder difficulties is going to impose greater restrictions on grinding, or if, kind of like with Fates, where Conquest was a no grind and Birthright and Revelations allowed you to grind, if the different routes that you pick will actually have an impact on how much venturing you can do. Many people think that the Golden Dare will be sort of the hard house to play, seeing as they have fewer commoners, so maybe they'll also have less venturing to do. Again, we can only really speculate at this point, but it definitely seems like we will be able to grind, but it will be in a limited fashion, where you won't just be able to grind to your heart's content, although they could very well release a DLC item that gives you extra energy or something like that. I hope they won't, but considering what they've done in the past, it seems like something that they're going to do. In both Echoes and Fates and Awakening, they did a ton of DLC that was basically pay to win. I really hope they won't, but I think they'll be going down that route. DLC is just too tempting for them at this point. Lastly, it also seems like we have the option to rests. Now, we don't really know what resting does yet. It could just be a time skip button. Like, for example, you can just rest for a week if you don't want to do anything at the monastery or you just want to speed up the story. Or it could be a way to not do anything and regain energy, allowing you to spend time to regain some of your energy. I don't really know. We only just know that resting is an option. Maybe Baleth will be forced to rest when he or she has depleted energy, and you'll be forced to spend a couple of hours just regenerating those energy bars. Maybe you actually won't have a choice. It's going to be very interesting nevertheless. A thought that springs to mind is, if we have the ability to skip the monastery completely, how would a playthrough of Tree Houses be if you are not allowed to do any monastery? Is it even beatable if you don't spend any time in the monastery itself? I'd be very interested in seeing that. Sounds like a really fun challenge. Then we have 3 new character profiles released. We have Bernadetta, Mercedes, and Raphael. And we're going to get 2 more profiles released within 1 to 2 days. The 2 profiles that are yet to be released are Ash and Lysithea, which we'll be talking a little bit more later. But for now, let us go over the 3 new character profiles that we have gotten, starting with Bernadetta. Bernadetta, I think, is going to be a lot of people's favorite character. They definitely seem to have struck gold with this one. So she's very much a shy, introverted character that seems to, like, hole herself up in a room. Just her art just makes you want to hug her. I really, like, I almost feel sorry for her just looking at her. Like, she looks like she's so uncomfortable. So her full name is Bernadetta von Varley. She is part of the Black Eagles, which means she is a noble. Her description reads, the only daughter of Duke of Varley's family. She's abnormally shy, and because she's far from home, her one safe haven is her room within her dormitory. Except for during lectures, she tends to confine herself to her room, devoting herself to her pastimes. So again, I'm getting sort of like Naomi vibes here. We've seen her shoot with a bow, which implies she might be skilled at archery. We don't really know. But again, I think this one is gonna be a big smash hit in the community. Next up, we have the character bio for Mercedes, and oh my god, this one, she reminds me so much of Louise, especially when I read her bio right here. Just, like, look at her braided ponytail and everything. She literally is Louise. Edelgard's got some competition, that's all I can say. She's part of the Blue Lions, and her full name is Mercedes von Maltritz. She's also a Holy Crest character, and her description reads, a kind woman who carefully observes her surroundings and is unable to ignore people in need. She's a former Imperial noble, but now lives as a commoner in the kingdom. Previously, she was enrolled in the Magic Academy in the royal capital. She claims to be a little older than the other students. So yeah, she's like kind, compassionate, and like a mom, and she looks like Louise. My heart is melting for this character. Now, what I think is kind of interesting about Mercedes is that she's a former noble, but now lives as a commoner. So she's a commoner, but she has a crest because she used to be a noble. I don't know what it means to be a former noble. Like, can you disown your family? Like, I really want to know how this works. It really intrigues me. Lastly, we have character bio for Raphael. By far one of the best looking male designs in Tree Houses so far. Maybe just best looking character in Tree Houses, to be honest. Gas doesn't like him. We actually discussed that at Anime North. Gas thinks he looks silly, but I love him. He is part of the Golden Dare, and his full name is Raphael Kirsten. He is a crest user, and his description reads, the son of a merchant from Leicester. Both of his parents died in an accident, and he's been through a lot, but he's an optimistic fellow who's only concerned about what's on the menu and his daily muscle building to become an exemplary knight. That said, he doesn't seem interested in lectures, so he loves lifting and he doesn't like reading. Oh my god, I resonate with this character, I really do. Seems like he'll be really good at armor. I think we've seen screenshots of him having an affinity for like armor and martial skills, but he's really bad at magic and anything mounted, so he'll be a good infantry unit pretty much. Unless you really want to use the awakening system to make him good at the other things instead. So again, the character profiles for Ash and Lysithea will be released in a day or two, and I'll definitely make a follow-up video whenever they are. I also would like to end this video by talking a little bit about an Easter egg. So Lysithea, she comes from the Ordelia family. And what's kind of funny is that her personal skill seems to be Prodigy, which is similar to Kale Dory from Fates. Now, Kale Dory is a character based on Cordelia, and Lysithea's crest is called Ordelia. This very much seems to be an Easter egg, or some sort of reference. This can't be a coincidence. There's actually one more thing I want to talk about. Kind of old news at this point, but it is, I guess it can be considered a spoiler, so if you don't want to hear it, just skip ahead to the current timestamp, but I'm going to be discussing it now. So this ad just went up at the Nintendo UK store, and it says, become the hero Fodlan needs in the Fire Emblem Tree Houses for Nintendo Switch. Choose between the 3 noble houses as you move to bring down the Church of Ceres in one of the biggest titles of the year. So they pretty much just spoil that you'll be bringing down the Church of Ceres. A lot of people expected this already. but it is kind of silly that they spoil themselves in an ad. I mean, considering this is an official ad, I mean, maybe they were given faulty information, the people behind this, but I don't see why they would. So this is kind of silly. We kind of know that the Church of Zeros are going to be bad guys now. Again, a lot of us suspected this, but now we've sort of gotten it confirmed. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that was all we had for today. I'll be releasing a new video shortly when we got the new character bios. Hopefully by then maybe we'll get some more. I'm also going to consider making a part 2 of the spoiler videos, because the more I read into these news, the more it looks like the leaks made by Fanny Bombs seems to be more and more legit. And I know there's a bunch of spoilers that I haven't covered yet, so I might get on that soon. Anyway guys, what do you think about the current batch of news? Are you still excited for Tree Houses? What do you think about the 3 new characters that just got their bios? Have they changed your opinion about what house you want to pick? For me personally, just because of Mercedes, I am more inclined to pick the... I am more inclined to play as the Blue Lions than ever before. I still think I'm going to do Black Eagles on my first playthrough, but Blue Lions definitely seems more appealing now that Mercedes is there, because she literally reminds me of Louise. Anyway guys, give a like and a comment on this video if you enjoyed it. My name is Mengs. As always, I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.